Dear students, great day. Let me start our session with History, Unit 5, Educational Development in India. In this session, we are going to learn about ancient system of education in India, development of education in medieval and modern India, educational development during the British rule, importance of national education policy, and educational development in Tamil Nadu.
The historical sources provide the information that from very early times the tradition of teaching and learning had been popular in India. The concept of education might have originated from the Vedas. The Sanskrit word Veda is knowledge, and the word derived from the word with means to know. Our ancient education system evolved over many centuries and focused on the development of the individual by taking care of both the nature and hidden capacities. It focused on values such as humility, truthfulness, discipline, self reliance, which means self trust, and respect for all creation. Sources of learning. The writings of Panini, Aryabhatta, Kadiyayana, Patanjali, Saraka, and Susruta are also some of the sources of learning. Various disciplines such as history, logic, interpretation, architecture, polity, agriculture, trade, commerce, animal husbandry, and archery were taught. Ancient education system in India, a way of life. In ancient India, both formal and informal education existed. Temples played a important role in imparting education and served the centers of learning. Students went to viharas and universities for higher studies. Teaching was oral and students remembered and meditated upon what was taught in the Gurukulas. Situated in forest, in calm and peaceful surroundings, hundreds of students used to learn together in Gurukulas. The students come to live in the house of Guru as member of his life. This was known as Gurukula system of education. The family of Guru functioned as a domestic school or an ashram. The main objective was to have complete learning, leading a disciplined life, and realizing one's internal potential. Taxila. Taxila was an ancient Indian city. It is an important archaeological site and the UNESCO declared it is as a World Heritage Site in 1980. Its fame rested on university where Chanakya is said to have composed his Arthasastra. Nalanda University. The ancient Nalanda University was a center of learning from the 5th century AD to 12th century AD, located in present-day Rajgir, Bihar. Nalanda was one of the oldest universities of the world and UNESCO declared as a birthplace site. The kings and society took an active interest in promoting education. Through monasteries and viharas, Buddhist scholars carried out the educational work. As a result, many famous educational centers came into existence. Some of the most notable universities that emerged during that period were situated at Jagatla, Vikramashila, Nabi, Taxila, Nalanda, Odandaburi. The teacher had complete freedom in choosing the syllabus of the students. When the teacher was satisfied with the performance of the students, the course concluded. The teacher would admit as many students as he liked and taught what his students were interested to learn. Debate and discussions were the primary methods of teaching. Education in medieval India. Medieval period witnessed the introduction of Muslim education. The tradesmen and the invaders brought with them their own cultures and intermingled with the people of the country. The aim of education during Muslim period was the illumination and extension of knowledge. In the 11th century, the Muslim rulers established elementary and secondary schools. Education developed with a fresh aspect. Fields of knowledge like theology, religion, philosophy, fine arts, painting, architecture, mathematics, medicine, and astronomy. Muslim rulers promoted urban education by bestowing libraries and literacy society. They founded primary schools, that is called maktabs, in which students learn reading, writing, and basic Islamic prayers. And secondary schools, that is called madrasa, were established to teach advanced language skills. Several madrasas were set up by the sultans. Iltutmish was the first ruler to establish the madrasas at Delhi during his rule. Raja Jai Singh of Jaipur encouraged learning of scientific subjects. The main objective of the madrasas was to train and educate the scholars. Jain Pallis and Buddhist viharas played an important role in educating people. Modern system of education. The beginning of the modern system of Indian education can be traced to the efforts of the Christian missionaries. Europeans came to India for trade and established trading companies. Later, they wanted to spread their culture and religion among Indians. So they started educational institutions. The Portuguese were the first Europeans who started modern system of education in India. Francis Xavier started a university at Cochin and started many primary schools. The first college offering degree on the completion of a course was started in Goa in the year of 1575, where Christianity, logic, grammar, and music were taught. Followed by the Portuguese, the French opened their institutions from all the Indians where education was imparted by Indian teachers through local languages. They started higher secondary schools where French language was taught. Two German bishops, namely Genselberg and Pluschem, started schools and a training college for teachers in Angkor. After the arrival of English East India Company in 1600 AD, institutions were established for imparting instruction in English. Also, Sanskrit colleges were opened in Madras and Benares. Missionaries made a good deal of attempt for the propagation of education in India. Due to their efforts, many institutions were established. These institutions imparted Western education as well as Indian education. Education in British rule. History of education in British rule can be divided into four periods. From the early days of the British rule up to 1813. Period from 1813 to 1853. Period from 1854 to 1920 and period from 1921 to 1947. During its early days, the East India Company followed a policy of indifference and non-interference towards education. Besides missionaries and non-missionaries like Rajaram Mohan Rao of Bengal, Pachayapar of Madras, W. Fraser of Delhi, contributed to the cause of education. In 1813, the East India Company was compelled to assert the responsibility for the education of the Indians. Charter of Act of 1813 made a annual grant of a sum of 1 lakh rupees for the promotion of education in India. The second period was marked by great educational controversies like the Orientalists who supported the preservation of Oriental learning and the use of Sanskrit and Persian as a medium of instruction. Another section believed in the use of Indian languages as a medium of instruction. These controversies were partially set at rest by Macaulay's Minutes of 1835. Higher education was de-orientalized, encouraging English education for the upper classes. Each province was allowed to follow its own education policy. But even then, the controversies continued till 1854. The third phase of British influenced education may be called the period of an all India educational policy. It commenced with Sir Charles Wood's Despatch in 1854. The Wood's Despatch is called the Magna Carta of English education in India. The fourth phase may be called the period of provisional autonomy. The Act of 1935 started a new era of educational advancement through the country. After the Second World War, a very important plan for education development known as the Sargent Report 1944 was prepared. This blueprint had a powerful influence on contemporary education, both in thought as well as in practice. In 1937, Gandhiji evolved a scheme popularly known as the Varda scheme of basic national education. The principle of non-violence was the basis of Gandhiji's scheme of basic education. Through this scheme, he wanted to develop a non-violent society. Educational development of independent India. In 1948, Dr. Radhakrishnan Commission was appointed to present a report on university education. One of the most important events that have taken place in the field of secondary education was the appointment of Secondary Education Commission in 1952 to 1953. It suggested new organizational patterns, improvement in quality of textbooks, curriculum, and methods of teachings. An education commission under the chairmanship of Dr. D.S. Kothari was appointed by the Government of India in 1964. Free and compulsory primary education for all children up to the age of 14 years and uniform educational structure of 10 plus 2 plus 3 patterns were its main recommendation. National Policy on Education. In 1986, the Government of India introduced a new education policy. The aim of new education policy was to transfer interactive society into a vibrant one with a commitment to development and change. The new education policy called for a child-centered approach in primary education. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, that is SSA. SSA is the Government of India flagship program that was launched in 2002-2001 to achieve universal elementary education, that is UEE. SSA is now the primary vehicle for implementing the provision of the right of children. Right to education, that is RTE, provides for free and compulsory education to all the children from the age of 6 to 14 years. Rastriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, that means RMSA, is a centrally sponsored scheme for universalization of access and improvement of quality education at the secondary stage. The goal of RMSA is to make secondary education qualitative, available, accessible, and affordable to all young students in the age group 15 to 6 years. Science lab, libraries, in-service training for teachers, computer-aided education, co-curricular activities, and teaching learning aids are provided by the Government of India through RMSA scheme at the school level. Educational development in Tamil Nadu. The pattern of education in Tamil Nadu was not merely reading and understanding of books, but listening to learned persons. The Tirukural stresses the need for education and warns the dangers of illiteracy. In ancient times, the school was called Palli and the teacher was called Kanakayar. A significant development took place in the field of education during the Pallava period. Gatika was an educational institution. The Pallava kings supported those educational institutions through endowments. The Vaishnava and Saiva modes provided boarding and lodging facilities to all students and teachers. The Chola period was the most brilliant and creative period in the Tamil literature. Tamil education enjoyed a greater connection with religion and temple. Free education was given to people and land was given to the school. Rajaraja Chaturvedi Mangalam was a famous seat of a Vedic college in Ennairam. At Tirubhuvanai, Vedic college flourished. Tiruvadurai inscription of Veeravajendra refers to a medical school. The Pandya kings patronized Sanskrit in an exemplary way. Lands were given to teachers, they were known as Salabhogam. Fernandez, who came to Madurai during the time of Veerappa Nayak, established a primary school. The Maratha ruler Sarboji II collected the old records and kept them in the Saraswati Mahal library. He also had a printing with Devanagari type. Pardon is an important center of higher education in the country. Sir Thomas Munro, the governor of Madras Presidency, was highly responsible for the introduction of Western education in Madras Presidency. Wood's Dispatch of 1854 introduced the Department of Public Instruction in Madras Presidency. Grant in aid was given to all schools. The Madras University was founded in 1857. It was the first university in Tamil Nadu under the British rule. By 1938, all subjects except English were taught in Tamil in schools. The Annamalai University was founded at Chidambaram in 1929. This was the next step in the development of higher education. Education since independence. Free education at the secondary school level was introduced in 1964 to 1965. The Gandhigram Rural College was established in 1975. Distance education has also been introduced to educate those who could not go to colleges. In 1956, midday meal program was introduced in schools. Later, it was extended as nutrition meal scheme in 1982 to avoid dropouts in schools. The national policy on education was framed in 1986 and was modified in 1992. Since then, some changes have taken place to meet the changing dynamics of the society. In this session, we learned about ancient system of education in India, development of education in medieval and modern India, importance of national education policy, and educational development in Tamil Nadu. Thank you.